Hi, this is Antminer Repair, and tonight we're going to be looking. I bought 6 broken S17 Plus boards, and we're going to actually unwrap these dudes, take a look at them, maybe log what they need, and from there on. So, obviously, forthcoming are some S17 Plus videos. So, I've got the first card. What we're going to do is alternate between the overhead and the microscopes. We'll do that, but this is card number 1. So these cards came with missing heat sinks. I don't get them, so I'm probably going to have to find a supply for heat sinks. They've got all the back heat sinks, thank goodness. They this one, sometimes I look at the glaze on the LDOs back here and see if it's been run hot. This one's been kind of run hot, and so that's what we're going to do tonight. I got 6 of these things, and we're going to take a look at them close up, kind of study them. If you like the content of this channel, please subscribe because you get notified when I do new ones of these. If you're into repairing hashboards, looking for someone to repair something, go to our Discord channel. You can talk directly with people there. It's way cool. There's 1,150 people on the Discord now, so that's a cool deal. And thank you. I appreciate your support on all things, for subscribing, for watching. The Antminer Repair channel is now monetized, which is a fantastic thing. Helps me defray expenses to bring you guys stuff, to buy equipment, to research it, so there's more information out there on how to repair these guys. Now, to be frank, I don't even have an S17 Plus machine yet. I've ordered some, they're coming, so I think, if I'm not mistaken, these dudes here are backwards from what they should be, but I'm not positive. I'll get more into the S17 Pluses later. But we'll go from there. Looks like somebody's crossed this guy, crossed this guy, crossed this guy. Man, these are tiny heat sinks, but they're really high, so they hold the same amount of heat. I think the case is probably going to be wider. So let's take a look at this one. And just eyeballing it, to me, I think what happened is most of these were dropped. And some of the heat sinks have ripped the tops off of chips and probably made it no good. So I see probably here. Probably here. This looks like it ran a little hot. That's probably okay. It looks like here that when the heat sinks separated, probably these 3, that it ripped out the chip. So what I'm going to have to do actually is replace these 3 chips. And the other concern I have is, if you read this tag, and you can't read this tag, it says bin 2. And bin 2 is they grade the chips after they make them on bin 1. I think it's the top chips. Bin 2 is the next. Bin 3. I think there's even a bin 4 if I'm not mistaken. They grade the chips, put them in bins, and it depends how much you can overclock them. So these are bin 2, and the thing about bin 2 is I read somewhere from a note from Bitmain that bin 2 boards have to have bin 2 chips. And usually when you buy things on Alibaba, they don't even discuss bin, because well, I was working on T17s a lot, and I have a board right there actually I'm working on. They don't care about the bin number at all. They could care less about it, but I hear that some of these guys do, so I may have to go find some bin 2 chips, or I might have to cannibalize one board just to supply if I have some other bin 2 chips. So let's have a look at this under the microscope. I got to raise this camera just a touch so I can get in there. Yeah, so I'll get it focused, and then switch sources. So this is the chip 1 here, the first chip I showed you. In general, you know, everything on the board looks, you know, pretty clean, not too fried. But this is obviously, this was not burned, or I mean, it was run hot, obviously, because it's lost all its copper. But this dude just ripped the top off it, and this is the silicone underneath. And I could test this chip. It might work, but probably not. So I'm going to queue this one up, so this board at least has that. And then I'm going to move on to this chip that's showing. And again, that's the same thing, ripped off. Then I have another chip here. May need to replace this unless I can get solder to stick on it. Looks like solder's sticking in a few places. There might be copper underneath here. Sometimes you can Sometimes I can detect some copper underneath, and then I keep the chip. But these puppies run pretty hot. I'm just getting some alcohol. We're just gonna check these guys out here. See if I can see what's underneath there. Sometimes there's actually copper down there. So let me try this. Yes, I don't see copper down there. I just see burned metal. I can probably stick it here. The solder's sticking around here, so I could probably place a heat sink on there. But you know, that chip is not long lived. But I'll probably do it unless I harvest this board. I have to determine. This chip's in good shape. It looks like looks like it got down to the chrome center, but it didn't rip the chip out. I've still seen copper. I've got solder on there. This dude's in pretty good shape. Now that has all the resistors except one. No, that has all the resistors, mostly. I don't know if this guy's missing any resistors, but I'll have other boards to compare with. And then toward the end of the board, chip, there is, what, 90 chips in this board? That's insane. 90 chips on this board. I don't know how much the S19 Pros have, but again, another chip ripped out. So those are my 3 ripped out ones that I have to replace. This one might run. I could test it. And you could probably do the diode test on it and find out. Might as well save myself some grief and just get rid of him. He's going to go anyway. I guess these dudes are famous for solder balls. So we'll see. I run mine underclocked anyway, so hopefully I can get these guys to be real dependable. This guy looks pretty good shape. Got a little black over here. I think that's just tarnish or heat rust. I don't see anything wrong with him. I don't see, he's not burned in there. And they got one last guy down in here, still holding solder. Probably put a heat sink on him. Okay. So in general, I got one last dude here. It looks like he's ripped out a little bit. So this guy's been loose. He came loose and then fried the copper off. So the copper's still here. Copper's still here, but he's fried it off. And this was also ripped out. So he got loose. The heat sink got loose. This got hot. It's probably flux or something and got burned here. But this guy's a candidate to replace. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, perhaps 5 chips to make this board run. So it's, you know, if you're buying the chips on the open market, it's probably $110 worth of parts, and then 5 chips is probably 8 hours of work. Maybe I could do it. You know, I get tired in between them. You know, you got to focus. So anyway, that's board 1. So that's kind of cool. So let's put him away. See what else I got in here. That's number 1. Put him down. Let's see what else I have in here. This is board number 2. He's missing a lot more heat sinks. Has some more labels on it here. Can't tell. Oh, this is another bin 2 board. Let me get the microscope out of the way. So this guy's missing a ton of heat sinks. The chips, and I'll show you, aren't in great shape. This board's been run pretty hot. You know, these are kind of glazed. Sometimes that's just they put a coating on here when they bake it. But even the power chips, this board has been run, you know, pretty hard. Not to say it won't run and won't run good. It's missing some chips, some pulled right out, and then it's got that. So let's turn on the microscope and look at some of the damage here. Okay, let me bring that guy in. So I'll start at the last part of the board, and we'll just go through these. So here's one that's, I mean, they look dirty, but this chip definitely has to be replaced. But I mean, I'm sure they clean up. Even though I have to replace this chip, I mean, they've just been run hot. You know, they just have gook. So I'll clean this whole board up. You know, I don't have an ultrasonic cleaner, but the actual green on the board's not too bad. But you can start seeing what's left of the stuff here and what's been fried. This chip's going to be replaced though. And then, what is that? If that's 90, I think it's 90. 89, same way, it got ripped out here, been run hot. Hate to take these off. And then the next row, another rip off. So there's 3 chips to be replaced. This chip's here, not at all positive I could mount something on it. There's some copper on the edge. I probably could, I probably can mount something on this. Man, there's just this really bad. I mean, I don't even know if I can scrape this off. Let's have a look here. Yeah, maybe I can clean it up. I've got some other tools to clean it up. This is like almost like solder. You can see the solder in between. Because you know, even if I have a heat sink, it's got to stick on here. It'll stick on the edges. It won't stick in the middle. So this side over here is copper. I'm not worried about that. So this chip's marginal just because it's been run so hot. This chip is missing. Just fried. I can clean it up pretty nice though. It's not missing anything else, so I'm pretty sure it was just ripped out. But you know, everything's intact right here, so it can be repaired if I have lots of chips. This chip was ripped out. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least I have to do. Here's another marginal one. Has a pit in it. I've seen those pits where they still work. I'd have to test that chip. Probably replace it last and see if I can get it running. Same thing. All these are about the same shape. Not a very good board, really. This board, I don't know what's under the heat sinks. Probably more of the same. That one's trash. You can see the layers of silicone. I mean, you can see the wires going in the chip actually running around powering it. So this obviously this chip's no good. And then you know that one. So just on that side of the board, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I at least have to invest 7 chips on that half the board just to see if I can get it to run. And then up by the power source, another marginal. If I can get the heat sink to stick, probably I can. I have pretty good luck with that. So these are just cooked. I don't know what that shiny spot is. Maybe that's no good. Look at this. Oh yeah, the whole corner of that chip is ripped out. So there's another one. So that's number 8. The whole corner of that chip is just ripped. So that one has to be replaced. That's number 8. I'd wait on that. Oh, look at this. Looks like that's been so hot there. Do you see how the see how this green cover is missing and it's bright? You see the metal underneath on the edges? That means these dudes were sucking some current and got it hot. I'd worry about that chip a little bit. Looks like, look at this. Right here. Yeah, these are all missing, like it was sucking too much current and fried the resistors, probably. So I have to look what's happening up over here too. So that one doesn't look so great. There's number 9. It's too much out of it. Then the last row of chips. Okay, that's a maybe. That's missing. There's 10. Anything wrong with those? That's kind of got the yeah, it's kind of like the other one where it's losing its solder resist right up to the foot of the chip. I wonder if we have more burned resistors up here. Yeah, check that out. So this must be a product of S17 Plus. So just like that other one, these 2 resistors were fried out and caused this to get really hot. These are resistors against ground. So each one of these, if I clean that up. So it could be this pulls down. Let me see. So this is ground. So what they do is they put the resistor off the power to the ground. It's probably, I'd venture to say it's a 10K resistor, not positive. Both of these got fried, so they weren't pulling the voltage down, probably sending too much voltage in the chip or having it available and fried the chip. It's probably what's going on there. So on these S17 boards, these would be really good to inspect, probably. I'm just guessing what's going on, but it sure looks like that. So this board needs a lot more work than the last one, and then of course this chip. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this guy's going to need 11 chips. What I might do is take this and take off a heat sink, and might take off a heat sink and see how good the chips are underneath. Probably not. This might be a good parts board with bin 2 chips. This would supply a lot of bin 2 chips to fix the others. All right, so that's board 2. Let's take a look at board 3. So that board probably is not a great deal. It's pretty used up. So this is board 3. Let's see here. Oh, I didn't check the other ones, but a lot of these are missing the capacitors. But I like have a ton of these capacitors right here. So, you know, I got a whole roll of 1,000 or something like that. Okay, so this is board 3. Looks like we pulled out some heat sinks. Looks like these chips aren't that hot. They still have the copper on them. These are shiny a little bit, so this has obviously been run pretty warm. They'll still work. These are all the LDOs, and then there's inductors right here along here. But let's take a look at these chips, just for the heck of it. Start with chip number 90. Oh yeah, look at that. So that doesn't look so great. It looks like it was run hot, then the top was pulled out of it. Let's see how does that look burned? Let's take a look in there, see if that guy's burned. Let's see here. It's just muck, or is it burned? Yeah, it's just burned up flux. So that's probably okay there. So no big shorts and burning here. It's like all the resistors are kind of there. So this actually is the wraparound. It's not the last chip. This is the last, probably voltage domain, as long as they have the same domain. So then I've got 2 guys in the middle right here. You know, I think there's a chunk out of this, or that's a piece of solder. No problem. These look pretty healthy. I just got to heat sink them, check them for solder balls, check the resistors, and move on. And then one more in the middle before we get to the top row. He's in really good shape. So the middle ones actually have been run pretty cool. So now we're going to go along the very outer row, the last row. And this one's not bad. He's been, you know, of course, a little hot here, but pretty typical, so I'm not too concerned about him. And then we get to that guy that's completely pulled out and ripped out, so he needs replaced. Say that guy's going to be okay. He's fried, needs replaced. Fried, needs replaced. And then chip number, I don't think it's 1, it's at the end of the first domain. He needs replaced. So this board needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is another bin 2. So this is a bin 2 board that only needs 6. That's not so bad. All right. So that's that one. And you wrap him up and switch sources. All right. So that's third card. Looks like I have some stuff I can work with anyway. Okay, here's number 4 card. Yeah. This heat sink's crooked, I wonder why. So just when I visually inspect this card, and I was sent pictures of this, I noticed that there were chips on here that weren't burned out. But there were bad chips. I recognized this shiny hole, meaning, hey, I got to replace the chip for sure. So just spotting this has had a lot of work. It's got marks on it. So somebody's worked on this. Let me see. Pretty shiny stuff. This guy was run. The capacitors look good, but when the LDOs are not flat anymore and they're kind of shiny, that's how that goes. So we've got got that guy pulled out. This is the second one on the edge, so there's number 2. We've got some really good stuff in here for general. I don't see anything wrong there. Here's number 3 that needs repaired. Nice. I don't see any burned leads, which is kind of cool. Let me move back over here. That's number 4. number 5. Number 6. It's going to take about, at least 6 times, 25, which is probably 25 bucks a piece, is chips. It's about 150 bucks for that one. All right. That's pretty good. These are going to make some good videos, guys. Because once I get them running with the chips, they probably won't run anyway, and they probably have other problems. And plus the other machines I'm getting, I think, are broken too. So I purposely buy broken stuff so that I can do videos and learn how to do it and share that knowledge. So, all right, hold on. Let me take that off, making you guys seasick. I've got the new one up here. This one has a lot more heat sinks. It's been worked on here. You can see where it's been worked on here. In general, the chips look pretty good. This is another bin 2 board. And maybe the person got rid of all the bin 2 boards because they didn't have bin 2 chips. That could be. I have a tendency to use used chips. This guy looks pretty trashed here. We'll have to look at him. But right now I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not sure about that guy. Maybe 6 and maybe 7. So about 6 more chips. Let's take a look at some of this close up. This last one looks like it's covered in something, like they glued some, like they used some sort of glue on it. You figure that's what that is? Let me see if I can scrape some of that off. It's going to have to all be cleaned off to use. Oh, it comes off pretty easy. There's just some sort of coating, like somebody tried glue on this, right? They tried to glue the heatsink on. Yeah, so I'm going to have to clean all that off because I can't even get to the top to do this. It looks like it's okay. We got a little bit of silicone here and here. It's not bad, but the board looks okay. But that's going to take some work. Maybe I can't get it clean. I'll have to remove it just to put a heat sink on it, providing I find heat sinks. This is the guy. Yeah, this looks, I guess that's solder sitting on the part. I can probably use this chip if it's good. Man, look at the nice solder job there. All the nice little balls going along for the legs. That's just beautiful solder job. And the machine did it. But anyway, so that's questionable. That might add to it. Then I've got these 2 in here. They look pretty good. I'm looking for those burnt leads again. See if I can, corroborate that it's those bad resistors. Do maintenance on your board to get rid of those bad resistors. All right, I'm going to move this over. So this is the next one. So these guys look pretty good. And this one doesn't look very good. You can probably see through it all the way down to the... No, it's just a mirror. That guy going to be replaced. And one more in the middle, then we'll go to the outer edge. So that's not a hole. That's actually a solder ball that sticks out. So that guy's good. And then just on the last row, that guy's good. Then I've got the next 4 that are just trashed. Look at that yellow dot. Why does that look purple? Well, that's cool. For some reason, the inside of that chip's purple. I don't know, but this is, most of it's ripped off because I remember the other one that had the corner ripped off. I saw that. But yeah, new chip. New chip. Yeah, that's it. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, possibly 7 new chips on that board. So seems to be kind of a standard thing that 6 or 7 chips. I hope I can find the chips. That's for sure. And then one more. One more. Yeah. All bin 2. So one thing I have to say, I now have a ton of spare bin 2 chips to fix other bin 2 stuff. So I might have to sacrifice one of these. Again, you can't see because I don't have it out of the video range, but probably a couple missing capacitors here. I'll have to work on that. So let's see, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, this is going to need 6 more. We'll take a look at them close up. All right, here we go. So just ripped. Everything else Is that a ripped out resistor? No, I think that's a test point. I was looking at so I've got to get used to this architecture because it's quite a bit different than what I've worked on. We'll all learn it together, but I'm looking at these two posts. So these are probably your 5 test points here, which totally makes sense. So you'd test here. Well, actually, you would test here, here on this side of the outside of the resistor, here, 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 and here, here. Like if you were testing diode resistance, you would make sure to hit the last part of the resistor. Now one thing that's interesting, I don't know if it's the light, but see how light that is? Almost looks like these guys got hot. You see that? I don't know what it is underneath there, but could just be that it's lighter. But I might want to look at that, just see if it got hot. Because what happens when you're drawing too much current, these guys start to burn and they lose the green on top. The solder resists. So, all right, so that's 1. And then go down to the next one is 2. Looks like his resistors are okay for the most part. Here's 3. And then, that's 3 I mean, that I have to replace. Everybody looks like they didn't get overheated. I mean, these are easy replacements, really. And I've got the chip stuff down pretty good. This guy looks pretty hot. Look how hot he looks. What's this? Is that copper, supposed to be copper in there? Look at the suit or whatever on there. So you didn't get hot out here. It's just really they must have really run these cards. I think they're from China. They just must have really won. I'm kind of sensitive to burns on the power port right over here in the corner right here. Those first 2, really first 3. This one only has 2, but that doesn't look burned. It looks okay. So, all right, let's see what else here. All right, he looks good. He looks good. Then we have 2 more trashed ones. Hey, at least I don't have to go testing. I mean, you know they're bad, right? You just take them off and work on it, and it's done. So, all right, those are my 6 boards. I got 6 bin 2 boards. Wow, and a lot of work to be done on them. So, I'll do some with video. I'll do some off of video just because I'm a little bit faster and a little more accurate. I can usually nail the chip replacement, and every time I do it on video I have a problem. But anyway, that's what I've got for you tonight. You'll be seeing these boards more, and I've got other machines. So I've got 6 broken S17 Plus machines coming probably in 2 to 3 weeks. And these are spare boards to get those other boards running, and those boards will have problems. So we're really going to get to know this board. And then I've got some more S17 Pro stuff, a lot of S17 Pro stuff to do. So 0 ASIC problems and stuff coming up later on in some more videos. So thank you for watching. That's all I have tonight. I hope you appreciated this video. I hope it was interesting. Just checking out when you drop a board what happens to it. And believe me, I've done that once before and took out a whole T17 board. But until next time, we'll dig into these and get to know these more. Thank you for watching.